Hi there, my name's Anna and welcome back to my art channel. So in today's video I'm showing you around my art studio a little bit. I don't know if you could call it an official studio. I'm sharing this room with my fiance. It's just kind of a little room in our flat where we have two desks and all of our paperwork and all of my art stuff as well. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And now I'm going to show you my workspace a little bit. So welcome to my studio. I just move over into my fiance's side of the room so you can see all of my side. And actually, now that I think of it, I do have a nice workspace, and this room has the most light in the entire flat, which is good. Here you can just see one of my lights that I use when I'm filming. I have a nicer light box. Well, it's not nicer, but works better. But it takes up so much room and is in front of my fiance when he's working at his desk, so that kind of is disturbing. So because the light in here is good anyway, I'm currently just using that little light, and I can always get the other one out, which obviously I'm too lazy to do. Anyway, yeah, let's start here at my desk. This is a glass desk. I've been using this since university and it's very handy. It doesn't take up too much space in the room. I mean, it's also not very large, but it could be a disadvantage, but it fits, just about fits in this corner nicely, and has some room for storage underneath. And so I don't have to see all the stuff that I have underneath here. I have these fake wood panels on top that I also use as surface to film on or to take photos on. I just think it looks nice, and it's actually meant for the floor. It's just kind of sample boards for the floor. Yeah, that's my desk. Down here under the desk I have this big folder for larger paintings. I have some paper. This is the paper I use for my colored pencils and some current work I'm working on. I just put things down here, and I have to tidy up from time to time because it can get messy. What I also have in here is a folder with some swatches of my different watercolors, which can be handy to refer to now and then, just so you know what you're using, especially if you want to fill up some or buy some new paints to fill a spot in your palette. So I have that under here. On my desk I have my computer, and usually I'll have my tablet here, just put my reference photo on it, and then I'll probably have something on in the background on my computer usually. Yeah, that setup works well for me. And I have some water containers here. They don't look very nice because I also use them for acrylic painting, and I've been using them since years. They used to be jam jars. Here, these little shelves I think are really cute. I kind of made them up this way in university or for university. They're just little shelves from Ikea, and usually they're the other way around, just like this, and in a lighter wood color, the typical, what we say here, children's bedroom color. Don't know what kind of tree that wood usually is. Anyway, I toned it a little bit, and I got these lovely knobs, and now I just have some stationery in here. I have my biros, more than I could ever use now that I'm finished studying. Well, I've been finished for years. And here, this is more interesting. These are pencils, although usually I'll just use the kind of mechanical pencil, and I'll just fill that up. So I don't use as many pencils as I used to. And yeah, just other stationery stuff in here. I don't think there's anything overly interesting. My scissors. Up here I just have a bit of a decoration. I have this lovely book with old botanical illustrations, and I used some of these for Inktober as a reference because they're that old. There's no problem with copyright, and obviously I did them in black and white and not exactly the same as the reference, so I wasn't worried there. Little mannequin that I don't use as a reference, it's just decoration. This here stamp, a watch that needs a new battery. And yeah, my turpentine, which I don't like using because I can't stand the smell, which I guess I knew when I bought it, but anyway, haven't ended up using it very often. Up here I have a pegboard thingy from Ikea. You can get all kinds of things to put on here. I have a little shelf, these two buckets, and then you have these elastic things that you can hang something behind. I just have some artwork there. Those are, yeah, old paintings. I haven't changed them out in a while. Also some from tutorials, so not all my original artwork. And yeah, up here I have my first ever completed sketchbook. I really was very proud of this, and I just like to keep it up here, even though I haven't taken it out and looked into it for a while. Down here I just have a, sorry, like you have these little pegs as well, and here I have a thank you card. I had a bunch of those made for my Etsy shop, and I haven't actually used any of them because I haven't sold anything since I had them made. But oh well, maybe I'll need them someday. And I've just got some kitchen towel hanging here, ready to use. And yeah, let's have a look here. Here are my lovely watercolor paintbrushes. Those are very valuable to me because they're expensive. They last for a long time if you treat them well, and they're just luxurious and lovely. You don't need a lot of watercolor paintbrushes, and I wouldn't say I have a ton. I have 2 sets really of expensive watercolor brushes, and I don't need any more, and I love them. And have some few cheap brushes got in there. They don't belong in there. This is my dip pen. I will often use this for Inktober. I didn't clean it very well. It's a little black, but still works. Over here I have a lot of fine liners and cheaper brushes that I would use for acrylic painting or for gouache painting as well. A few other kind of pens, a golden one. This is a backup white colored pencil for when my other pencils run out. I actually have a lot of backup whites now. Back here, this may be interesting, is a water brush. This is my first ever water brush, and it's very dirty. I didn't clean out the tank often enough, I think. Anyway, it still works very well. And here I have some more cheaper brushes that I'll use for acrylic painting. For some reason I can't keep those in good condition for very long, unfortunately, so I have to replace them from time to time, and I don't paint as much with acrylic paint anymore, so I don't have to replace them that often, luckily. Here I have a little plant and a decorative candle. Yeah, that was my desk. That water bucket in the back I don't actually use. I thought I would, but I didn't. Yeah, oh yeah, here I have a spray bottle to moisten my watercolor paints or gouache paints before I use them. And here I just have a little shoe box that I got a present in years ago, and I just use that beside my desk to put in art supplies that I'm currently using. Just now I have a few ongoing sketchbooks and my pencil case in there, and some rags and some cheap colored pencils that I'm using for sketching. Some more paintbrushes over in the corner, and jars that don't look so pretty and I have tucked away in the corner. So what will we look at next this year? Oh, I was so excited to get this. And at the time I was doing a lot of acrylic painting, or I was nearly just doing acrylic painting. and I saw other YouTubers using this Ikea cart, and it's meant for whatever you want to use it, but you can use it in the kitchen for your vegetables, for instance, or for whatever, for books. Anyway, I use it for my paints, and currently I have my large acrylic paints down here and a piece of paper that I can throw away, that's dirty. Up here I have smaller tubes, and in here I have my really small tubes. There's a lot of cheap paints in here that I got as birthday or Christmas presents. You know, when you tell people you love art, they will give you art related paints as a present, and with acrylic paints you can use the cheap ones just fine. And I have my liquid text basics in here. I asked for a present of a large set of these small tubes for my birthday a while ago, a few years ago, because Lisa from La Cree Fine Art recommended them, and of course she was the first YouTuber I ever watched, and so I got that as a birthday present. But because they were in a cardboard box for so long, I barely used them at all. Anyway, they're here now. Another set of cheap paints. And it's all not terribly tidy at the moment, but easily accessible. And up here I have some palettes. This I will have to discard eventually. It's a wood palette. I don't know. I doubt it's possible to clean that one up. Maybe if you were using oil paints and you cleaned it before it dried, but I don't usually use oil paints, so that's that. And here I have a glass frame that I use as a palette. That's much easier to clean up. I have this, this scrapey tool that I can use. I can't do that with one hand. Anyway, you can use it to clean, I think, you can use it to clean ceramic cooking areas, I think. In any case, you can use it to clean glass very well, and you can replace the blades here. So up here I have painting mediums and some oil paints. These were cheaper ones I got as a present. I haven't actually used those, I don't think. These ones are a basic set I got in Bösner a while back. And down here I have water soluble oil paints that I got only recently, I think. And what's on here? Oh, just the same. Yeah, I don't use oil paints that much. I thought that I would, and I really like the idea of them, but so far I haven't used them that much, which is a pity. But by now I have so many art supplies that it's hard to use them all. Anyway, I love this card. I have a canvas hiding in behind. Oops, let's not break that. Sorry. Okay, let's continue with my set of drawers. I have two of those, one beside my desk and one beside the door. And yeah, they have been in our family forever. I think actually my mother had them in my children's bedroom when I was a baby, and there was a board on top, and she would change my nappies on there. I don't know if you needed that piece of information, but there it is. Anyway, I used a technique called Krakelliertechnik in German to make that kind of design. You painted a base color, then you put this kind of glue on top, which will, once you put another paint on top, will kind of, well, re-wet, and the paint on top will kind of swim around like little islands of paint, and it ends up looking like this. And then I put on top of that, I put a little design on every shelf, and it's not, I guess, very sturdy, waterproof now. I mean, if I got water on it, it might ruin it, but I have had them like this since, I don't know, 10 years, so it's fine. And I loved purple at the time, and I still like it. So that was probably not terribly interesting for you, but let's have a look what's inside. I have all of my watercolor and gouache paints in here, and by now I do have quite a few. This, I guess, is my most used large watercolor palette. Okay, this is difficult to open with one hand. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Yeah, these are my Mission Gold watercolor paints, and I really love them. They're super vibrant. They are, unfortunately, they lift very easily, which is great for some techniques, but it wasn't great for the last painting I was working on. It was a little frustrating, but I definitely love these. These are professional watercolor paints and fairly inexpensive for that. I also have my little set of Schminke paints here. Okay, I'm not going to try and open them all up with one hand. But here, there's only this little row. They are significantly more expensive, but also very lovely. And, you know, birthday presents and all of that. Christmas present in that case. Yeah, anyway, I guess I won't show you everything. Maybe just this is a little set that I put together myself. This was just meant for putting pencils in, and I stuck in my old Russian watercolor paints that I used to use as a child. And here are some gouache paints and some washi tapes, and here are little egg cartons that I use for ink. All of that lives in here. Where is actually my ink? I'm just wondering. Down there is my ink. So I don't usually film and move around. I hope you're not getting seasick here with me. In here I have more paintbrushes and all of my watercolor paper. There's some postcard paper in here. And down here I have some of my refills, larger sets. Things I don't know where to put it, where else to put. This is just paper to mix your paints on. I can't think of the word right now. Disposable palette paper, that's what it is. I have my tubes of my Mission Gold watercolors to refill. I have my colored pencils in here as well, Prismacolor, and in here I have my polychrome rolls. And oh yeah, I have my Inktense paints down here. I have the sticks and the pencils, and unfortunately I don't use them so much anymore. I should use them again. So let's move on to the other side and the other drawer. Oh yeah, here is my easel, which I don't use as much anymore because I don't do that much acrylic painting. It just lives behind the door, so it's not in the way. Here's my printer, but I don't have electricity here, so I have to lie the cable across the room. Anyway, my printer and some more drawers, just some more office supplies. Well, office, you know, sellotape, whatnot. And here I have some charcoal, my old pencil case from junior school, some more ink, another dip pen. I guess you could say I don't use these drawers as much because they're further away, so my favorite art supplies are closer to me. Here I just have some folders where I'll put my smaller paintings in, and I think I have some sticker paper in there. And down here I have empty sketchbooks, empty notepads, and some tape, and an empty box for my headphones. Yeah. And here I have some canvases wedged between those two shelves. And over here, this is the last part of my art studio, back in the back there with the zebras on top. I have another folder with art supplies in it, and I have a desk easel, that's what the wooden thing you see in the back, some plants, and a paper cutter, which has turned out to be really handy. It does take up some space, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah, this is just another shelf from Ikea, and recently I put some doors in it so it would look a bit more tidy. So let's look inside. yeah, here are a ton of books. Some of them art related, others have to do with pharmacy because that's what I studied. I'm a pharmacist or a chemist, whatever you're going to say. What do we have here? Some more small canvases. I have my cards in here with my information. And here I have my Ohuhu alcohol markers and an empty glasses case. I think my nail polish and old makeup or jewelry that I don't really use is down there. And what do we have here? I have my microphone. I have some finished sketchbooks there in the back. And some more, or another drawing book. I don't know if I used them a ton, not really. Okay, some packaging supplies. Here, this is empty, and I have some prints in here that I made. So if anybody's interested, do check out my shop. There's prints ready to be sent off. Anyway, yeah, my shop has not been a huge success, but then I don't have a huge following either. So there's not a huge surprise there. Yeah, some more canvases and frames, some more packaging supplies, all not super exciting. Yeah, but I am really happy with my space, and I really love it that I have my little art corner. Isn't it lovely though? The light is nice and I have space to paint. I hope that I'll be able to always have a corner where I can do my art, even if we end up moving sometime and things change. Oh, what is also interesting, well, my desk light is not so interesting. Here is where I hang my phone when I am filming my drawings. I just film from up there. I use my phone for all of the filming. And oh look, here in the corner, that little frame my grandfather made, and that's me as a baby or as a small child. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my workspace, and yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you again soon in one of my next videos. So take care and bye bye.